When I went to the National Service District Office, and then I showed them the letter that I had received, and I was asking them to direct me to the community where I'll be doing my national service. Could you believe that nobody knew where the community was? And here I'm talking about Bipo Akoko. Well, my name is Ishmael Mensah. I'm a professor at the Department of Hospitality and Tourism Management.
I want to say a very big thank you to each and everyone watching our videos every day, and I believe your life is being impacted. Today we have another one with our very own, the great Professor Ishmael. And I know something about him, but yes, still I want him to tell us about him. So keep watching. My name is Hani. Prof, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
So can you please tell us something about you?
Well, my name is Ishmael Mensah. I'm a professor at the Department of Hospitality and Tourism Management, and I also double as the Ghana Director of the Confucius Institute at the University of Cape Coast. And so that's me.
I told you he is a great man. Okay, so Prof, we want to start with a growing up story. Where did you grow up? Where are you from? And how was life when you were growing up?
I think it's a very long story, but I'll try and summarize. Growing up, I must say I was born in Takwa, in the Western region. My dad used to work at the State Gold Mining Corporation. But my stay in Takwa was for a very brief moment because I had to go to the village. That's my father's hometown. That in itself is a very long story, which I wouldn't want to elaborate. But myself and my sister and my elder brother, in fact, I'm the third born of my siblings. I'm the third. And so we spent about a year in the village, and I'm talking about Krado. Krado is in the Abra, Asebu, Kwamankese district. So I started schooling in Krado. I think I did my primary one over there. And then, as fate will have it, my mom came to pick myself and my sister to the city. And in Ghana, when we talk about the city, of course, we are talking about Accra, yes. So we went to Accra. I was very young then. Myself and my sister were enrolled at Datus Preparatory Primary School, one of the best schools at the time in Dansoman. And so I did my primary education at Datus. And then growing up in Accra, it was exciting, yes, because in those days we lived in compound houses. There were no walls, there were no gated communities. The children would go out and play. Sometimes we go and play, and when we come back, we have to receive some beatings from our parents. We go and play football, and sometimes end up breaking our legs, and it was really exciting. For me, I also grew up close to the beach, yes, and I'm talking about Shiabu. I mean, those of you who know Accra very well, Mamprobi, Agege, that area. And so sometimes we'll go and play at the beach. Those days there were no tablets, there were no computers and what have you. So we'll play pilolo, hide and seek, We'll play, I don't know if you know Dicus. We'll play Dicus, we'll play Alokoto, it was so exciting. Yes. We were not rich. Those days, we used to walk, myself and my elder sister. We walk from Shiabu all the way to Datus. I mean, if you know where Datus is in Dansoman. So we are talking about from here to maybe Sudu. Yes, we walk. I mean, you are talking about little children. I was about 5, 6 years then, So we walk in and then walk out. In the 80s, and I'm talking about the early 80s, those were very turbulent times in the history of Ghana, because there was a coup d'etat, and in 81, I remember when there was the curfew, also in 83, when there was a mass exodus of Ghanaians who were in Nigeria. And then in the same year, there was a famine. And so those were very difficult times in Ghana. There was a woman who used to sell kinky in our community at Shiabu. Now, even before she does the kinky, wraps the kinky, it gets finished. Yes, people even go and buy the condo in advance. Yes. And so those were very difficult times. I mean, children were going hungry, their parents were concerned. But somehow we were able to sail through. I completed Datus. Again, there was another, low part of my life. I mean, I completed Datus, very well qualified to enter any of the good secondary schools. But something happened and I didn't, I didn't go to school. I didn't go to secondary school. And so for the almost 1 year, I was at home. Yes. And then I remember at that time, my dad had been transferred to Accra. So I went to spend some time with him. And I remember a lady who used to work at my dad's office came, interacted with me, and she was like, but this guy is very intelligent. Why is he at home? So he was able to convince my dad. In fact, my dad had wanted to transfer me to Accra to school at Aquinas, but it didn't work out. And so I was enrolled in a private school, a private secondary school in Accra. And I'm talking about that, I'm talking about Sibusco, City Secondary Business College. As I told you, the first year had almost ended for my colleagues, those I completed primary school with. And so I remember they had come home, some came back home from secondary school, they were telling me stories, and I was like, hey, I am really missing something. But it wasn't too late. I went to Sibusco. Now, in Sibusco, it was more of a commercial school. It's a business, they do business and commercial. And so what happens is that if they pick the students who are really good, and then they write the GCE O level after the 4th year. And so whilst traditionally, the secondary school from 1 to 5 is supposed to be 5 years, in Sibusco, I did it for 4 years. I wrote the exams. And remember, when I went to Sibusco, the first year had almost ended. So I think I did just the 3rd term for the first year. And then I also did just 4 years. But God being so good, I was able to pass with flying colors. I remember when it was announced that the results were in, I was a bit hesitant, yes. I went to the school. In fact, on my way, I met one of my teachers. And then he told me that, Ishmael, congratulations. He actually hugged me. So I was asking him, have I passed? He said, you have more than passed. You have passed with distinction. And so I was able to gain admission to Ghana National College here in Cape Coast to do my A-levels. So I came to Ghana National College. I did the 2 years. Those days, A-level was 2 years. And it was quite packed, yes. And After Ghana National College, those years you had to do a 1-year national service. So again, there was another low part of my life because I was posted to a community that, I mean, nobody would actually like his or her son or daughter, to go and stay. I remember when the postings were released, I traveled from Accra to Asinfosu because the district happens to be under Asinfosu. When I went to the National Service District Office, and then I showed them the letter that I had received, and I was asking them to direct me to the community where I'll be doing my national service. Could you believe that nobody knew where the community was? And here I'm talking about Bipo Akoko. Bipo Akoko. Bipo Akoko is in the forest. Yes, behind Asin in Suta. I mean, you have to trek for about almost 2 hours into the forest. It was, for me, it wasn't even a village. It was more of a hamlet because you could count just about 30, households. And these were predominantly Atakwame houses. There was no market. There was no electricity. There was no water, And so when I remember when I got to Asin in Suta, I was told that there was a boy who stays in Bepoako but schools in Suta. There was a secondary school, and still there is a secondary school at Asin in Suta. And so he was asked to direct me to his hometown. He actually accompanied me. And I remember when we were going, I kept asking him, are we there?